What if I told you that your thoughts are building your reality? And with a few simple changes, you could fully control your mind and dramatically change your life. Now, I'm going to teach you technique after technique after technique. Stay all the way to the end. I don't want you to miss any of it because they work synergistically together. And I'm telling you, if you can't make it through a short video, wow, you really can't control your mind, so you're in the right place. Let's jump right in. Now, I'm going to teach you a very simple quote, but I want you to grab a screenshot, write this down, put this in your journal, go ahead and print this out and put it up on your wall, make another copy and stick it in your back pocket so you can pull it out periodically and read it again. I want you to completely ingrain this in your mind because much of the work we're going to do from here forward is going to be based on this quote. This is the fundamental, the core, the ultimate reality of how your mind works. And I'm telling you, modern psychology backs this up completely. You ready? We are what we think. All that we are arises from our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make our world. Now that's from the Buddha, and that's over 2,600 years old, but it's just as true today as it was then. The human animal hasn't evolved in the last 2,600 years. If you've been on Facebook recently, you realize this. We might be devolving, right? But with this strategy, and I'm going to break it down for you and show you exactly how to use it, this is going to give you so much mental control, it will blow your mind. And yet, it'll be simple enough and fundamental enough that you'll be able to teach it to other people. And you will see dramatic changes in your life, almost literally from day one if you're using it properly. I want you to have complete and utter mental mastery. So, let's jump right into the first strategy. Now, this is kind of one of the most profound pieces. It's the first sentence in the quote. We are what we think. Here's what happens. You are on a certain mental diet. You are having thoughts over and over and over again. Your thoughts create your feelings, and then your feelings create your reaction. There's a big debate in psychology. Which comes first, thoughts or feelings? And here's why there's a big debate. They come together that fast. It almost sounds like one clap, right? Because they happen instantly and together. But they've teased this out. They've done all the research. It's not you have a feeling and then you have a thought about that feeling. No. You have a thought and then that creates the feeling. So if you can start creating your thoughts, you can control your feelings, which is also your motivation, right? And you can control your results. So the thoughts are everything. They're not just something, they're everything. So control what you think, you'll control what you feel, and then you'll control your results. Perfect. So how do I apply this in my life? The first thing is start to listen to your inner dialogue. See, humans have a weird thing. It's called metacognition. We think about our thinking. Do you think a squirrel ever looks at their fur coat and says, oh my God, do you think I look fat in this? Do you think, I'm worried that the weather's going to rain today. Squirrels don't wonder if they look fat in their outfit, and they don't wonder if it's going to rain later. It's going to do whatever it's going to do, and then the squirrels won't say, oh shoot, it rained. They'll say, oh look, moisture, rain. That's all they think about. They don't feel bad for themselves. They don't say, oh gosh, I'm so wet and I'm so cold now. What am I going to do? Poor me. These are all human things. Humans are the only animals that actually think about their thinking. So like, maybe you're worried about money. Well, instead of worrying about money, you could be out earning money. Most people just sit around worrying about money. They will spend 99% of their time worrying about money and maybe 1% of their time planning how to make more money. Now you'll say, hey, that's not me. But go ahead and start listening to your thoughts, listen to your inner dialogue. Most people don't actually realize that they have an inner voice which talks to them constantly like it's narrating their life. As a matter of fact, if you close your eyes and you sit quietly, I doubt you can go anything like 3 seconds and you're going to have a thought. What's a thought? It's a voice in your head. Now, you think these voices are you because it sounds like you. It sounds like that same voice you've had your whole life, so it must be you. No. When you were younger, you were programmed. Everybody comes like an empty computer with an empty hard drive in the box. So, how is that computer going to run? What can it do? What can it do? And how is it going to behave? It's going to behave based on what? That's right. It's going to behave in a certain way based on its programming. Unfortunately, you didn't get to decide your programming. And you were programmed by a lot of people. You were programmed by your parents, your siblings, kids around you. Unfortunately, they're still pooping themselves, so they're not a great source. Your parents were experimenting on you, and your teacher who is also a big influence, had 30 different kids in the room. Now, all these different influences in TV and the media and everything else, everything around you was just pouring information into this hard drive, this system. It was programming you. Totally uncontrolled, willy-nilly, haphazard, and that's why every single human comes out wildly different. You know, in psychology, there's a huge debate about whether or not there's free will. You know what they found out? You absolutely, positively cannot prove there's free will. You can't prove there's such a thing as free will. Now, you can prove all day long what I just said, that people are programmed and then they run this program. And unfortunately, it's an unconscious program. You're not conscious of it. So how do you gain any real free will? How do you regain control of your life? How do you start taking over as a human being and learn how to deprogram yourself and then how to reprogram yourself? Well, I'm trying to do it for you inside of this training. Now, just a quick caveat, you should take a course on REBT. It's called Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy. And it teaches you how to deprogram your brain, get rid of all those negative thoughts that you don't want, and then replace them with positive and more accurate, more productive thoughts that you do want. Now, you are taking control of you, literally for the first time in your life. How amazing is that? Hey, are you loving this content? Are you learning something valuable? Then go ahead and like and subscribe. That way you'll get all our future content. It's all marked down to free. We're literally bringing it right to where you are, but you got to like and subscribe. Now we've dealt with the first part of the quote. We are what we think. Now let's look at the second part of the quote. All that we are arises with our thoughts. So everything that you think gives you a certain feeling, gives you a certain reaction, and you take a certain action and you get a certain result. So our results in life are coming from our thoughts. So as we start to listen to our thoughts, as we start to reprogram our thoughts using the REBT, and I'll teach you other strategies later in different videos, we gain control over our lives. And then that starts to show up in your world. Now, I'm not here to say that certain things can't happen at random chance and bad luck and, you tried to go in this direction, but it went totally in the opposite direction. You had good positive intent when you did it, that things couldn't go wrong in life. I'll never say that to you. That's happened to me many, many times. But if you keep pounding, if you keep working in a given direction, if you control your mind, what you're going to find is that the results in your life, and actually whether you control your mind or not, right? The results in your life, probably in the 90 to 95 percentile, are based on the way you've been thinking about things, which causes your actions, which creates your reality. It creates your outcomes. So if you don't like the way your life is going, if you're not doing well in any one of the three major areas, and this is what I teach in my life transformation courses, to get you to a much higher level in the three main areas of life. The three main areas of life are healthy, wealthy, and wise. So your health, how's your weight? How's your health? Unless it's genetic, then you've got to look at what types of decisions have I made that have led my health to here? And what kind of new decisions can I make that'll take my health and my fitness from where it is to where I want it to be and motivate me to get there? That's from your thoughts. Your wealth. Wealth is great because you can just look at your checkbook, you can look at your bank balance, you can look at your investments and pull them up on the screen, and you can see how your thoughts that create your feelings, that create your actions, have affected your financial present and will affect your financial future. Now, some of that was luck, some of that was bad luck, some of that was good luck, but most of it was based on your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions, and your overall financial plan. Same thing when it comes to being wise. Your relationships. Are you studying psychology? Have you applied the psychology? Are you out there learning more psychology? Hey, you learned some now, so congratulations. Great. That's going to change your thoughts, which is going to change your feelings, which is going to change your reactions, which is going to change your future. So, how are you doing in your relationships? How are you doing in terms of mental clarity? Are you persuasive when you talk with other people? Are you motivated to take action? Are you feeling good about yourself? Do you have anxiety or do you have depression? Anxiety and depression are all thought systems. They're systems of thought where you weren't listening to you correctly, where you weren't taking you in the right direction, when your thoughts were working against you, when your thoughts are supposed to be working for you. That's called anxiety, depression, low self-esteem. Those are all failures to control your thoughts. And they can be done. And that's why I created my membership website, the Life Transformation Academy, on WAP.com, so that people could nail down those 3 main areas of life and have it all nailed down in one spot and be fast, simple, and easy. So if you get some time, check it out. But this is where your thoughts create your world. We got to start creating our thoughts. How do you do that? Step 1, listen to your thoughts. Step 2, use the REBT to change the thoughts that aren't working in your favor. And step 3, as you're listening to your thoughts and you got the right thoughts in your head, now take massive action on them. Now, the last part of the quote is, with our thoughts, we make our world. So start listening to your thoughts. Make sure you got the correct thoughts, the positive thoughts, the productive thoughts, and then take action on those thoughts. Then you'll create your world. But you're also going to create a better internal world and an external world. So it's twofold. And both are equally important, right? If things are great on the outside, but they're terrible on the inside, you're not going to have a good life. If things are wonderful on the inside, but they're horrible on your outside, you're not going to have a good life. You have to have both. Your thoughts are creating your world, internal and external. And this is what's going to determine your success. So make sure that you're monitoring and cleaning up both areas, and then you're going to get massive results in your life. If for any reason, a given area, remember, healthy, wealthy, or wise, something's not going right in this area, play detective and say, what would I have to be thinking? What negative, crazy, stupid, or wrong thought would I have to have that something's going wrong in this area of my life? Because probably 97 times out of 100, that's what it is. You know what the other 3% is? What you're doing right now. You're learning, you need a piece of information, and you didn't have it. Let me ask you a question. How many things can you do, approximately, that you don't know how to do? Yeah, stupid question. You can't do anything that you don't know how to do. So it's a learning deficit. See, 97% of the time we know what to do, but then we don't do it. And we'll say, oh, Professor Paul, I know that. No, you don't. Like I'll say, hey, you're fat, so you should eat less. And you'll say, I know that. If you knew it at the deepest levels, and you knew it in your thoughts, and you were thinking these thoughts, like instead of going to the fridge and saying, what's the sweetest, stickiest thing I can get away with? You had the positive thoughts, the correct thoughts. You reprogrammed your brain. You said, what's something that'll be healthy, light, and meet my weight goals? And then choose that item. That's when you really know. See, there's knowing at the level of trivia, and you better get your butt on Jeopardy, because that's the only way that life will ever give you something for that knowledge, that knowing. But when you truly know something, like I know I never want to be fat. I never want to be unhealthy. I never want to be out of shape. I never want to have a disease and say, Paul, you didn't do anything to prevent that. I don't want that. I know that at the deepest level. And you can see in my thoughts, in my feelings, and in my actions that I'm very careful in those areas. Same for my fitness, same for my health, same for my wealth, same for my psychology. I'm always watching out for these things, and therefore I get better results because I'm willing to self-examine, and I'm willing to make the hard choices. I'm willing to take the time to control my thoughts and not say, oh, I know that. I'm telling you, if you truly knew it, you wouldn't be overweight, you wouldn't smoke, you wouldn't have anxiety, you wouldn't have depression, But anxiety and depression, like I said, you have to learn something. You've got a knowledge deficit. You didn't even know how to control your thoughts, so you were going to lose that one. But it's always a knowledge deficit. That's the 3%. 97% is exactly what I've been teaching you here today. So use the strategies, use the techniques. I'll leave some links down below so you can go to my membership site and maybe some other helpful resources. And I want you to comment down below and tell me any challenges you're having, because I like to read through these comments and I like to respond back personally and give you some extra help, maybe some extra resources. I want to make sure you have the best life humanly possible. My name is Professor Paul. Go ahead and like and subscribe to make sure you get all our content, and I'll see you in my very next training.